When we are done with today's lesson, we're going to glue this on page 7. Okay, so today we're going to focus on the 4 ways that you can see slope and how you can find it. So we have slope from an equation, slope from a table. Nope, this should be slope from a graph. Slope from a table and slope from 2 points. So let's look at the very first one. A lot of the times it's not going to be this easy. You'll have to solve for y and then determine what the slope and y-intercept are. But for this purpose, we're just going to focus on finding slope. So here, this is called slope-intercept form. So I need you to remember that this is your slope and this is your y-intercept. Now, with the y-intercept, you need to make sure that you're including that sign. So since this says plus, it would have been a positive number. And I need you to focus on the fact that your slope is always in front of the x. So I'm going to look down all of these very quickly, and then we're going to talk about what the x is, or what the slope is. Okay, so in front of x we have 3. In front of x on this one we have negative 1/2. Okay, this one is 4/5. Now this last one is a little bit different because there's not a number in front of the x. So what you need to remember, if there's not a number in front of the x, there's an imaginary 1. So now let's go back and look at and answer all the questions. So our slope here is 3. Our y-intercept is negative 5. Our slope here is negative 1/2. Our y-intercept is 5. Our slope is 4/5. Our y-intercept is negative 1/4. Okay, our slope here is negative x. Our y-intercept is positive 2. So that addresses slope from an equation. And this is on your formula chart, and it's actually called slope-intercept form because the slope comes first and then the y-intercept comes next. Okay, so let's look from slope from a graph that we just crossed out and made sure that you put that there. Okay, so with this, and I'm going to spell rise incorrectly, you have rise over run, meaning we're going to go up or down first, and then we're going to go right to left. So in order to find rise over run, you're going to have to find points that meet exactly. So here is a point that meets exactly. This doesn't, this doesn't, this does. I'm going to keep going down. Doesn't, does. And then it appears right here. And possibly right there. So you have 5 points that you can use. I would just tell you to find 2 points that meet. So if you look, I'm making a little triangle. Here we're going to go down 1, 2, 3. So we've gone 3 and over 1, 2. Okay, now the only other thing is that from left to right, this is going down, so it's a negative slope. There's nothing to reduce on here, so there's your answer. Now I want to show you, you don't necessarily have to write this one, but you can. I want to show you that if you picked 2 different points, you'd still get the same answer. So making sure these 2 points meet. Okay, so I have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And over 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, since it's going from left to right, you have a negative. And if I reduce that, I have -3/2. So no matter which 2 points you pick, it's still going to get you the same slope. The only other thing I want to talk to you about on this is your types of slope that we didn't discuss. So you have a mountaintop. This side is, so from left to right it goes up, it's positive. From left to right it goes negative, or down it goes negative. All right. So just remember a little mountaintop. Left to right, if it goes up, it's positive. If it goes down, it's negative. Okay. So here's something I need you to know. Since you're looking for a slope, you need to know that your numbers are always going to be the same, and it's going to be the same numbers that you pull. So since you're looking for the slope, you have to pick 2 points. Okay, so these numbers are increasing. These numbers are decreasing. Okay, so from -1 to 1, I have to go to 0, 1, so that goes by 2. And just think of a number line right here. So sometimes you guys get confused. If I'm at -1 and I need to go to 2, if I need to go to, I'm at -1 and I need to go to 1, I've gone 2 places. So that's why I put 2 there. So the change is 2. From here, it's 4. And it's gone down. So on this one, you have the change in y over the change in x. Some people say, well, technically the correct way of reading that is delta y, delta x. But we read it change in y over the change in x. So the change in y is -4, and the change in x is 2. When I reduce that, I get -4. I'm sorry, -2. Now I want to show you that it doesn't matter what 2 points that I pick. If I were to pick these 2, I would still end up with the same number. Again, to go from 5 to 7, I increase by 2. To go from -6 to -10, so if I'm at -6, I got to go down, or I got to go sideways, whichever way you're going. It's a change in -4. So those are the same exact numbers that we just looked at. Still comes out to be -2. Okay, so this you're going to want to write. And for those of you who like color, there are highlighters that you can use. So remember, it's the change in y over the change in x. It's rise over run. Whichever way you call it, or whatever you name it, y's are still always on top. So on here, we're looking for the slope from 2 points. And that equation, this is called slope formula. It's on your formula chart. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, some of you may have already seen this, or you should have seen it. Technically, it doesn't matter which order you pull from, but I think you guys are used to seeing 7 minus 4 or -4, and notice that I had to put that negative there. And this is 2 and then -2. So this is where it may be different for y'all. because I don't think y'all did this last semester with Mr. Hogarth. Maybe y'all did. Alpha y equals enter. I'm going to type this in exactly the way I see it. And what it's going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to enter this in. And it's going to reduce for me if it needs to. So here's my answer. 11/4. So the calculator's done the work for me. So this equals 11/4. Okay, now let's look at the next one. Again, start with your skeleton. Your Y's go on top. Your X's go on bottom. So I color coded it so that you guys can see where these numbers are coming from. So this is 9 minus -3. And then 2 minus -2. So again, I'm going to press alpha y equals enter. 9 minus -3. 2 minus -2. So it reduces to 3. And there's your answer. Okay, so make sure to glue this on page 4. I'm sorry, on page 7. Remember that I will be grading your composition books as a grade, most likely tomorrow or Wednesday. So make sure that you're updated. If you have any questions, tutorials will be tomorrow from 4:15 to 5. So if you have questions, make sure you're coming to see me. And I will be in Mr. Hogarth's room from 4:15 till 5. Have a good day.